Hello. Today I wanted to talk about, my name is Paula. I am an INFP, and on this channel, I talk a lot about things that relate to being an INFP, and an introvert and a highly sensitive person. I also enjoy writing. I write books under the pen name EJ Mara, and I also have a day job where I am a writer in a newsroom. Um, Today, I want to talk about writing a little bit because yesterday, in online Facebook group that I'm in for writers, one of the writers had a question. She was like, "I'm not a person of color, but I'm writing from the perspective of two different characters. Both of them are African Americans." And she was wondering, like, is it okay for me to, as a white person, is it okay for me to write from a third person point of view? And she said that she wanted to write from third person instead of first person because she's not Black herself. And she doesn't want to offend anyone. That question made me really sad when I saw that, to be honest. While on one hand, I'm glad that people have respect for other cultures, for cultures that are outside of their own, in that they don't want to offend anyone. I think that's lovely. That's good. We should all be that respectful of each other. But on the other hand, to assume that I can't relate to someone else because we're different skin colors, that's part of the whole problem. Like, that's part of the reason why the Me Too movement is gaining traction because subconsciously a lot of people, when they look at Black people, they think, I can't relate to this person because they are a different skin color. Subconsciously, that is what's going through their mind. And that leads to other subconscious notions, such as, they are different from me, they are bad. So my answer to the question of, is it okay to write from the perspective of a character who is a culture other than your own, is absolutely it is. Absolutely. Um, Now, I realize that in this world that we live in, because certain writers are given more attention, let's just say white people are given more attention as writers than people of color. That's just the way this world is. So I understand why there is a push for writers who look like me, and who are other cultures as well, to come forward and like write about characters who look like us and who have our life experiences, because people are craving truth instead of just, the same sort of people who are from very similar backgrounds coming forward with their very similar stories. People want more diversity and more reality. So I get that. And that's a really good thing. But at the same time, we don't want to shut each other out. Like, the one thing that bothers me so much, as a person of color in general, is when when I'm in a new group of people, whether they're coworkers or fellow writers or whatever, I'm in this group and I'm the only Black one, which is like most of my life has been like this. The only Black person in the group, or maybe there's like one other Black person, or maybe one other person who's considered of color. And I don't really think about that at first. Like, I'm just kind of used to that. But then I start to pick up on everyone else in the room thinking that. And they say things that imply that they expect me to be different from them. They expect me not to have the same political views as them, not to have the same religious views. to listen to different music. Like, for example, one guy at work, super nice guy, really like him. We were talking, and I mentioned that I was raised in a very religious family. And he proceeded to talk about the Black going to a gospel church. And in my head, I'm thinking, that's really nice for you. But I didn't grow up in the Black church. And I've never listened to gospel music. Like, just looking at me, he expected me to have that particular experience when I mentioned religion. And that is not at all my religious experience. So, my whole point in this rambling monologue is that a person's skin color does not define their perspective on life. What defines their perspective on life is what happened to them in life. And some of the same things that happen to a white person can happen to a Black person. So if I am a Black writer, it's okay for me to write about a white character who has been through experiences that are similar to mine. It's also okay for me to write about a white character who has been through different experiences, but who might have the same personality type as me, or one that I can relate to, so that I can empathize with them, pretend to experience what they experience, and then write about it. That is the whole purpose of writing. It helps you to become a more empathetic person yourself because you're putting yourself in another character's shoes. And it also allows readers to do the same thing. So I am not offended when, like, Steven Spielberg made the movie Amistad. He's not African American, he's Jewish. But that's not offensive. I think it's beautiful that he tried to put himself into someone else's shoes and share that experience with an audience. So I think that, well, it's good that we're woke and very respectful of other people's cultures, and that we do our research on other cultures before we dive into writing about them. I think that's good, but it's also good to remember what the whole purpose in writing is. It's to share stories with each other. And we're all humans. We all have similar experiences. And we just need to remember that and treat each other and view each other as fellow humans. That is all. And if you have thoughts that are different on that subject, please feel free to share them, because I would be interested in seeing a different perspective on that if you maybe don't agree with that. I would be interested in knowing why. Alrighty, well, thank you for watching. Bye.